Welcome back to the channel today, guys. And you know, we had a very straightforward episode of Hell's Paradise today, which is honestly kind of good because I'm kind of tired. Where we get to see the confrontation with Rokurota, and we get to see Sagiri finally step into her own and develop her own brand of swordsmanship. And that ending! I already see people going crazy over that ending. As a manga reader, I was waiting. Let's just say that our story is kind of now officially beginning. We'll leave it at that for now. But let's just get straight into it and talk about Hell's Paradise episode 6, because it was another banger. So our episode begins today with us seeing a little bit of Rokuroto's past, as we see that he was always been a very hungry boy, one that wants to play with people constantly. But we see that that hunger took hold of him and overwhelmed him, as we come back to the present and see him send Genji flying across the jungle. And it's here Sagiri's trying to help him, and Rokurota is about to hurt her too. We see Gabimaru step in and save both of them. As he says, is this guy a condemned criminal or a monster? Both, frankly. He's frankly both. As Sagiri says, that's Rokurota, the giant of bison. As Gabimaru realizes that he's got the eyes of a predator who's located his prey. It'll be tough for us to escape together, so I'll have to kill him. But that is much easier said than done, as he says, if that kick of mine was ineffective, then he's got to be as tough as an Awagakari. And it's here as we get another shinobi rule from his master. He tells him, accurately analyze the enemy's abilities. And with that thought in mind, our fight begins. But upon realizing that Rokurota is far physically stronger than him, he literally just turns to Yuzuriha and says, how long are you going to sit there and watch? As he says, you've got your own ninjutsu, don't you? Fight with me like you promised you would. As she tells him, fine, fine, of course I'll keep my promise. Remember, you'll do all the fighting and I'm responsible for gathering information. As she literally just turns into a little cheer squad for him. And he just looks at her like, this frickin' woman. And as the fight between them continues, alone, he starts accessing Rokurota, saying there's nothing special about his swings, but his swings and reactions are fast. It's impossible to defend against those fists. Touching them would mean instant death. And as Gabimaru tries a bunch of different ninjutsu on him, ones that would kill a normal man easily, they do nothing to him, as he says. Projectiles are ineffective. And neither is his unformed blade, which is as strong as steel, cannot cut him. As he realizes that Rokurota is gonna be a bit of a problem. And it's here as Gabimaru is keeping Rokurota busy, we transition to Sagiri desperately trying to save Genji's life, even though it's all in vain. As he tells her, run, Sagiri. But Sagiri won't give up, as she tells him, you'll survive if we can stop the bleeding. As Genji tells her, you really are a strange person, huh? Moments ago, you were blustering like a man. But now, I feel a woman's affection in you. As Sagiri tells him, now's not the time for that. Right now, there are no men or women here. I simply don't want my senior, who studied under the same master, to die. Gender has nothing to do with it. And it's in this moment that Genji finally starts to understand Sagiri, as he says, so that's how you've chosen to live, huh? Rather than dividing everything in two, such as man or woman, strength or weakness, you accept opposing concepts as part of yourself. You embody the middle way. And it's here as he extends his sword out to her. He tells her, a warrior's sword is his soul. I give this to you. And tells her, if you're a samurai, then I won't tell you to run anymore. Kill Rokurota, Yamada Asamon Sagiri. As she takes the sword from him. And you know, guys, I gotta say, I'm not a woke person at all. I don't get into any of that kind of stuff. I try to avoid it. But I really like how this series tackles gender. How Sagiri's just flat out like, it's not about being a man or a woman. It's about us as fellow students and samurai fighting for our lives here. And I kind of love that Genji, even in his final moments, finally realized that it doesn't matter if she's a woman. She's a samurai first. And I love that. And it's here as we transition back to Gabimaru's fight. It's not looking too good, as he says. Close quarters combat is too dangerous. Projectiles are ineffective. If I could just get the chance to use eccentric blaze, I could stop him. But we see that it's not going to be so easy to do so. As he says, if it was just 2 against 1, I could find a blind spot. And it's here in this moment, his wish gets granted, as we suddenly see Rokurota's finger was cut clean off. As we hear Sagiri say, if you insert your blade at the junction of extended muscles, tendons, and bones, even the strongest body can be cut. And this is honestly a brilliant deduction, because even steel has its weak points, guys. And what she said is true. If you can cut between his joints and cut them off, you can hurt anybody. As she says, no matter how outlandish your opponent, the principles of execution apply. You need to understand the structure of their body and strike at the gaps. That is the Yamada Asamon style. As the two of them, for the first time, fight as one. But again, nothing in life is ever easy. As Sagiri says, his bleeding's already stopped. Gabimaru tells her that wasn't a serious injury after all. And says, we need a single killing blow. We'll have to aim for the gaps between his bones and decapitate him. Basically, think of it as like what they do in Attack on Titan. They have to aim for the nape of his neck. As he tells Sagiri, cut his legs from his blind spot and make him kneel. As she tells him, wow, you really say that like it's easy, huh? And as the fight continues and Gabimaru distracts him, she tries to strike at his leg, but she's not able to cut through it, as her own emotions are holding her back right here. And it's here, after getting some space, she thinks to herself, alright, I need to focus. He's condemned to death and he killed my senior. But if I attack too aggressively, my swordsmanship will suffer. I must remain calm. I must push past my emotions and rely on reason. But it's here, even after telling herself that, as she tries again, she still can't cut through him. As she tells Gabimaru, cutting through his bones while he's rampaging about is gonna be difficult. His movements close the gaps between his bones, leaving no space for my blade. Killing him with a single blow will require him to be hunched over. But it's here in this moment, all of a sudden, they hear his stomach start growling as he cries out in hunger. And in that moment, he slams Gabimaru into the ground, delivering a heavy blow. Not even Gabimaru's walking away from that unscathed. Because as he gets back up, Gabimaru instantly hunches over and spits out blood. That was a heavy hit after all. And as Sagiri rushes over to try to save him, she realizes, oh, this is my death. As she tells herself, I have to remain calm, suppress your emotions, think logically. But in this moment, after remembering Genji's words to her, she finally comes to understand her swordsmanship. That rather than dividing everything in two, accept the opposing concepts as they are. That her swordsmanship is emotion and reason, as she deflects Rokurota's punch. As she tells herself, turn your emotions into strength. Use logic to keep sight of the objective. Choose neither calmness or passion, but the middle. And as he sees her standing there defending him, Gabimaru finally starts to understand the strength he saw in her the very first day they met. And it's here upon watching this fight, Senta starts breaking down how the Yamada clan works, as he says, her rank is 12th. But the Yamada clan's ranks aren't determined by pure skill alone. They're assigned according to their suitability to lead the clan. So she loses standing simply for being a woman. As Genji says, Sagiri lacks experience as a warrior on the battlefield. But when her duty and goals are aligned with her heart, when her hesitation vanishes, her skill with the sword is better than first rate. She may fear the monsters of the island, but as an Asamone, in the face of a criminal, she shows no fear. She's one stubborn person. And it's here in this moment, as we see Sagiri finally has a chance to try to take his head off. For the first time, we see Rokurota actually back off from them. As she says, damn, is there any way we can keep his head bowed so I can cut it off? And it's here Gabimaru tells her, I've got an idea. But it might be a little extreme. And it's here we see Gabimaru get a little bit serious. And upon seeing this, even Yuzuriha says, alright, we need to get out of here now, Senta. She knows what he's gonna do. As we see Gabimaru do attack after attack after attack on Rokurota with his eccentric blaze. And it's here, even though Rokurota blocks all the attacks, we realize that that was never the plan, as the forest is set ablaze. And it's here as they're running away, Yuzuriha explains to Senta exactly what Gabimaru is doing, as she tells him, they're not just trying to kill Rokurota. They're planning to set the whole area on fire. As she says, they're using the smoke. The massive amount of smoke produced from the oils in raw wood. By setting fire to the leaves and everything and branches, they can instantly fill the area above with smoke, given smoke's properties. And if he rampages about while crying, he'll run short on breath and inhale a large amount of smoke. But to explain this in an even simpler term to you guys, it's carbon monoxide poisoning. That's why every time, if you've ever been in a fire or something like that, you stay low to the ground, because the carbon monoxide in the smoke will get into your lungs and actually suffocate you. And that's what they're doing right here to Rokurota. It's actually a brilliant idea. And it's here as he hunches over, we see that it's working all too well on Rokurota. He has to breathe, after all. And it's here she readies her sword, and Gabimaru holds his hand down so he can't attack her, he tells her. Cut him now while you have the chance. And it's in this moment, as Sagiri readies herself to do this, Rokurota's eyes flash before, his life flashes before his eyes. And his backstory is actually a little bit sad, guys. As we see throughout his entire life, he's had this insatiable hunger he's never been able to quell. And it's because of that he kills the people around him when he just wants someone to play with, someone to be there for him. He just can't help it, though. And it's here, as he actually starts crying, Sagiri tells him, we must have frightened you. I'm sorry about that. But everything's all right now. Nobody hates you. Those who might hate you are dead now. Like them, I hope you rest in peace. As she actually embraces the head she just cut off. And I love this scene, honestly. There's no anger or fear here, anything like that. It's just her putting his soul to rest. It's a beautiful scene. And it's here as they're escaping the blaze, Sagiri says, on this island where I can't mourn my fellow students, much less criminals, I must be strong, as Sagiri has her resolve firmly in place now. And it's here as these two escape from the blaze, they realize that the monsters are actually heading towards the fire. As Gabimaru says, alright, we don't have a choice. For now, let's head in the direction that the monsters came from. The monster's ecology is our only lead to the elixir. As he says, I'll find the elixir as quickly as possible and see my wife as soon as I can. But then he asks her, are you sure you're not worried about the safety of your fellow students? And it's here in this moment we see how much Sagiri's grown as she says, "No. They all took this job knowing it could kill them. It would be disrespectful to be too concerned about them. If I am worried about them, then I should find the elixir as quickly as possible so we can all escape this responsibility." As Gabimaru realizes that they're finally on the same page with each other. And it's here as they finally catch up to Yuzuriha and Senta. He tells them, "Yo, what happened to our promise to fight together? What the hell was that?" But upon noticing what they're looking at, they are floored to see a village here. And it's here as we transition to Toma and Chobi fighting for their lives. We actually get a little bit of breakdown on the lore of Shinsenkyo as a whole, as we realize that this place is actually supposed to be occupied by hermits. They're a type of superhuman being according to Shenyen philosophy. Most resemble old men and cast mysterious spells. And allegedly, they're immortal. It's supposed to be hermits, not monsters, that live in Shenkyo. As Chobe tells him, we'll just kill the old farts and be done with it then, who cares? But it's here in this moment, suddenly, he senses the presence of something else. And as they go to investigate it, we get a very wild scene. As we find two people, let's just say, embracing each other very strongly. And with that, our episode ends. Now, I know immediately that people are going to go wild from this ending. I can tell. Just looking at this, I know people are going to go wild about it. Let's just say it's only going to get weirder from here. So buckle up, guys. But yeah, what a great episode again. Sagiri finally came into her own in this episode and accepted what she has to do to get stronger. Just accepted herself in a way. Didn't deny her feelings or emotions. Instead, just embraced them and became a better person because of it. And I quite enjoyed that. And like I said, things are only gonna get more wild from here. So buckle up for that. But let me know down below how you guys felt about this episode of Hell's Paradise. Yet again, Hell's Paradise is killing it. One of the best shows this season. So I'd love to hear your opinions down below. But until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day, week, month, and year. And until then, deuces, have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys next time.